welcome back to the podcast playground. Our newest podcast is The Best Podcast.
Join Jay Carter and me, Vida Best, on The Best Podcast, where the dynamic duo brings you their insider secrets to everything wonderful. Now Jay and me dive deep into the top 5 everything, from the latest cell phones to affordable wines that won't break the bank.
So tell a friend, you've found The Best Podcast,
where every recommendation is a gem waiting to be uncovered. Tune in weekly for your dose of excellence.
Okay, so picture this scenario, because I think we've all been there. You finally managed to wrangle the dates for a trip.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Maybe it's a vacation, maybe it's a work thing, but the flight is booked. You are feeling good. You've got momentum. And then you open the browser tab to book the hotel.
The dreaded browser tab. It really is.
It is the moment where enthusiasm just goes to die. You're suddenly staring at this infinite wall of thumbnails. You've got the legacy brands. You've got these soft brands that sound like expensive perfume, boutique collections, and the prices are just wildly all over the map.
All over the map, yeah.
It's the absolute definition of analysis paralysis.
It really is. And the stakes feel surprisingly high, don't they? I mean, if you book a bad flight, you're miserable for maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
But if you book a bad hotel, you are stuck in that misery for days. It colors the entire trip.
We're going to identify the top 5 best hotel chains in North America for 2026. And the key here is that we aren't guessing.
Right. We are definitely leaving the vibes at the door today.
Let's do it.
We are basing this entire conversation on heavy-hitting data, specifically the J.D. Power North America Guest Satisfaction Index for 2025 and 2026.
The gold standard.
It is. This is basically the Bible of hospitality data.
So give us the scope here. When you say data, are we talking about like a couple hundred Yelp reviews?
Oh, no. We are talking about a massive data set. This study involves nearly 40,000 hotel guests.
Wow.
39,219 to be exact. And these are people surveyed between May 2024 and May 2025.
Okay.
J.D. Power evaluated 102 different brands across every conceivable price point. And just to be totally safe, we've also cross-referenced this with rankings from NerdWallet and Forbes just to see where the consensus holds up.
Okay, so nearly 30,000 people told us exactly how happy or how miserable they were with their stay. That is a sample size I can actually trust.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, before we get to the winners, we need to set some ground rules. Because obviously, comparing a 5-star resort to a roadside motel just isn't a fair fight.
No, it's apples and oranges. In the industry, we talk about weight classes, kind of like in boxing.
Right.
You have luxury, upper upscale, midscale, and economy. So for our top 5 today, we aren't just picking the 5 most expensive hotels. We're looking for the pound-for-pound champions.
Love that.
The chains that are absolutely dominating their specific category.
And I have to say, looking at the research you pulled, there are some genuine paradoxes in here.
There really are. The data is telling a super interesting story this year.
I mean, the headline that jumped out at me right away. Hotel prices are at a record high, yet somehow guest satisfaction is also up.
Yeah.
That just doesn't intuitively make sense to me. Usually when I pay more, I get grumpier if things aren't perfect.
You would think so, but the data tells a different story about value perception, which we will definitely get into.
We're also going to talk about the one piece of technology that is apparently the new must-have, and spoiler alert, it is not a robot butler.
Sadly, no.
But let's start with the landscape. You mentioned J.D. Power uses a specific framework. How do they actually generate these scores?
It's a very rigorous process. They score everything on a 1,000-point scale. But they don't just ask, hey, did you like it?
Right.
They break the guest experience down into 7 key dimensions. So they look at the check-in process, the quality of the room, staff interaction, food and beverage, value for price, and increasingly important, the digital interface.
That value for price metric seems like the volatile one right now. I was looking at the industry averages you sent over, and are we really paying that much?
It's steep. The data shows that the average daily rate for a hotel room in North America hit a record high of $158.67 in 2024.
Nearly $160 is the average. That means for every $89 roadside stop, there's a $300 room pulling that number way up.
Exactly. It is the highest value on record. And this is where that paradox comes in.
Right, the satisfaction thing.
Yeah. Historically, when rates spike, satisfaction scores tank because people feel gouged. They feel like they're paying premium prices for a mediocre product.
It makes sense.
But in this data set, Guests in every single category reported higher levels of satisfaction compared to previous years.
So dissect that for me. Are we just resigned to inflation? Have we just accepted that this is what things cost now, or are hotels actually getting better?
It appears to be a stabilization effect. Think back to 2022 or 2023. You were paying high prices, but because of labor shortages, your room wasn't cleaned.
The restaurant was closed.
The pool was green.
Right. You were paying luxury prices for a survival experience.
Exactly. Now, staffing has finally stabilized. Renovations that were paused during the pandemic are finished. So the expert analysis suggests that if you're paying $160, you are finally getting a $160 product again.
The gap is closing.
The perceived value gap is closing. Hotels are delivering on the promise again.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Reliability is worth the premium. Now, before we get to the winners, I do want to touch on this technology piece because it just kept popping up in the reports. What is the single biggest tech driver for satisfaction right now?
It's the smart TV.
Really? Just the TV?
It sounds so simple, but it's symbolic. The study found that 40% of guests now consider a smart TV a need-to-have feature.
Not a nice-to-have.
Exactly. And 60% of guests explicitly used one during their stay.
I guess I'm in that demographic. I really don't want to flip through 50 channels cable news or scroll through a guide that takes 10 seconds to load.
Nobody does.
I just want to log into my Netflix, pick up my show where I left off, and zone out.
It's about the seamlessness of home. We don't want to learn a new interface when we travel. But the bigger tech story here, and this is crucial for the rankings we're about to discuss, is the mobile app.
This was the stat that absolutely jumped out at me. The satisfaction gap between app users and non-users.
It is massive. Guests who used the hotel's mobile app for things like check-in, digital keys, or requests rated their stay at 699 out of 1,000.
Okay.
Guests who didn't use the app, their average score dropped to 631.
That is a nearly 70-point swing. That's the difference between a B+ and a D- in some schools.
It suggests that friction is the ultimate enemy of happiness. If I can order extra towels or check out without standing in line behind 3 other people, I perceive the hotel as being better run.
Even if the room is exactly the same.
Even if the room is identical.
Control, we just want control over our time.
Okay.
Keeping that context in mind, high prices, high expectations for tech. Let's get to the list. We are starting at the top of the mountain. If money is no object, who is the undisputed king of luxury for 2026?
The #1 spot and the winner of our first top 5 slot is the Ritz-Carlton.
The classic.
It really is the gold standard, and the numbers are undeniable here. The Ritz-Carlton score is 779 out of 1,000.
Wow.
That is the highest satisfaction score of any brand in North America across any category.
So statistically speaking, this is the ceiling. This is as happy as you can get in a hotel in North America.
Pretty much. They are setting the curve.
Yeah.
And it was a tight race at the top. The Waldorf Astoria was right on their heels with a score of 773. But Ritz took the crown.
I feel like I always hear people debating Ritz versus Four Seasons. Where did Four Seasons land in this mix?
That's an interesting nuance in the data. Four Seasons is incredible, obviously. They actually hold the #1 and #2 spots for specific hotel locations.
So really?
Yes, specifically their resorts in Wailea and Lanai in Hawaii. Those individual properties are just off the charts.
So the brand as a whole.
When you average it out across every single city and resort, Ritz-Carlton is more consistent. And consistency is what drives these JD Power rankings.
Right.
You don't want a 10 out of 10 in Maui and a 6 out of 10 in Boston. Ritz delivers a 9 out of 10 everywhere.
And how much does the loyalty program play into this? Because Ritz is part of the Marriott machine.
It's a huge factor. NerdWallet actually ranks Marriott International as the overall best chain broadly, simply because of that footprint. They have over 8,700 properties.
That's massive.
So when you stay at a Ritz, you are earning Bonvoy points that you can actually use later at thousands of other places.
Right. It feels like an investment rather than just an expense.
Exactly. Compare that to Fairmont, for example. They sat at the bottom of this specific luxury list with a score of 692.
Oof. 692 versus 779. That is a significant drop.
It is. And in the world of hyper luxury, where you're paying $800 or $1,000 a night, a drop like that is unacceptable. At that price point, guests expect perfection.
Okay, so Ritz-Carlton is the winner if you want to feel like royalty and collect points. But let's be real, most of us, and I'm definitely including myself here, aren't dropping Ritz money on a Tuesday business trip to Cleveland.
Very true.
Or a family road trip. We need to talk about the real-world categories.
This brings us to the upper upscale and upscale categories. This is really the sweet spot. You're getting quality, but you aren't paying for the crystal chandeliers in the lobby.
So who takes the number 2 spot on our list?
For the upper upscale category, the winner is Omni Hotels and Resorts.
Omni. I feel like they fly under the radar a bit. I don't see their commercials everywhere like I do with Marriott or Hilton.
They are quieter, but they are incredibly operational. They scored a 731, beating out heavy hitters like Hard Rock Hotels and Hilton's Curio collection.
What's driving that score? Is it the vibe? The food?
In this specific category, the analysis showed that success relies heavily on the physical product maintenance.
Okay.
We're talking about furnishings, bathroom fixtures, the actual condition of the room. Omni invests heavily in keeping the property looking brand new.
Upper upscale sounds like a tough category because the expectations are high. You want it to feel fancy,
Right.
but you don't have the staffing levels of a Ritz.
It is the hardest category to get right. You have to be premium without being wasteful. Omni just nails that balance.
Okay, so Omni is our solid number 2. Now here's where the data gets weird, and I love this part. We're moving down a tier to upscale. Technically, this is a rung below Omni, but look at the score.
This is the biggest outlier in the entire report. Our number 3 pick is Drury Hotels. They won the upscale category with a score of 738.
Wait, let me just check the math on that. Omni, the fancier upper upscale hotel, scored a 731. Drury, the technically lesser hotel, scored a 738.
Yes, people were statistically happier at Drury than at Omni.
That is wild.
In fact, Drury has won this J.D. Power Award for something like 17 consecutive years. They are the New England Patriots of the hotel world. They just keep winning.
That is a total dynasty. What is the secret sauce here? I've stayed at a Drury. It's nice, it's clean, but it's not opulent.
It comes down to perceived value and exceeding expectations. Drury operates about 150 locations, mostly in the Midwest and South. They aren't trying to be cool, but they offer the kickback.
The kickback. I have heard legends of this. Explain that for the uninitiated.
It's their evening reception. Free hot food, and we aren't talking just pretzels here. We're talking pasta, hot dogs, tacos, enough to make a full dinner out of.
Okay.
And crucially, 3 free alcoholic beverages per adult every single night.
Free dinner and 3 free drinks, included in the room rate.
Included. No hidden fees.
Okay, well, mystery solved. Free food tastes better than expensive food. That is a scientific fact.
It really creates a massive value halo. You pay $140 for the room, but you feel like you got $50 worth of food and drink back. You leave feeling like you beat the system.
Whereas at a luxury hotel, you pay $18 for a bottle of water and feel like you lost.
Precisely. The upscale category as a whole saw the most significant gains in perceived value, and Drury is single-handedly driving a lot of that. In contrast, look at Sonesta Select. They ranked last in this category with a 636.
So the gap between Drury at 738 and Sonesta at 636 is over 100 points.
That's the difference between a loyal customer for life and a 1-star Yelp review.
So if you see that Drury sign on the highway, pull over. You're going to be happy.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's keep moving. We need reliability for the road warriors.
Yeah.
The sales reps, the families on a budget, the people who practically live in hotels.
This brings us to the midscale and extended stay markets. And if you're looking for a theme here, it is total dominance by one company.
It's a Hilton show.
It really is. Hilton is cleaning up in the middle tiers.
So who is our number 4 pick?
The winner of the midscale category is True by Hilton with the score of 723.
True's at that newer brand, right? Very colorful, big lobbies.
Yes. And they've led this category for 3 consecutive years now. They disrupted the market because they realized that midscale doesn't have to mean sad beige room.
Right. It used to mean a bed, a Bible, and a coffee pot that looked suspicious.
Exactly. True completely shifted the model. They made the rooms smaller, no closets, just hooks and rails, no desks in some rooms, but they made the lobbies huge.
Oh, interesting.
Pool tables, board games, work pods, and crucially, they put in those massive smart TVs we talked about earlier.
They built it for a younger demographic, didn't they?
They did. They realized younger travelers, millennials, and Gen Z would rather hang out in a cool lobby with a drink than sit alone in a beige room. It's a vibe play at a mid-tier price point.
It's not just a place to sleep. It's actually designed. I should also give a quick honorable mention here to Hampton by Hilton. They are in the upper mid-scale bucket, and they scored a 694. That is 32 points higher than their category average.
Hampton is the machine. It's the Honda Civic of hotels. It just runs. But for our official top 5, we have to look at the extended stay leader because that is such a growing way people travel now.
Right. Digital nomads, traveling nurses, people renovating their homes who need a place for 3 weeks. Who is number 5?
Home2 Suites by Hilton. They scored a 711. They've won the upper mid-scale extended stay category for 3 years running.
Again, Hilton.
Again, Hilton. It's about consistency. If you are staying somewhere for 2 weeks, you need a kitchen that works, space to spread out, and reliable internet. Home2 Suites has standardized that experience perfectly.
Is there any competition there?
If you want a slightly more upscale extended stay, Hyatt House is the winner of the higher-end bracket with a 705. They are fantastic.
Okay.
But Home2 Suites takes our number 5 spot because that 711 score is just so impressive for its price point. It's really hard to maintain quality when you have people living in the rooms for weeks at a time, and they're pulling it off.
So let's look at the board. We've got Ritz at the top, Drury and Omni for value, True and Home2 Suites for the road warriors. That is a solid lineup.
Very solid.
But I have to ask the scary question.
The economy question.
The economy question. What if I literally just need a bed and I have $70?
Yeah.
What does the data say about the budget tier?
This is our cautionary tale segment. We analyze the economy rankings, and honestly, the drop-off is steep. It isn't a slope. It's a cliff.
How steep are we talking?
Well, the winner, and really the only bright spot, is Microtel by Wyndham. They scored a 619.
619. Okay. For context, even the lowest luxury hotel was near 700.
Right. And Microtel is the only economy chain that cracked the 600-point threshold. Everyone else is in the 500s or lower.
And the bottom. Who is the absolute avoid at all costs?
The bottom of the barrel is OYO Hotels. They scored a 386.
386. Wait, Ritz was 779. OYO is 386. That's basically half the score.
It's abysmal. The gap is enormous. And OYO is interesting because they are technically a tech company that aggregates budget hotels, not a traditional hotelier in the way Marriott is.
So they just put their sign on existing struggling motels.
Often, yes. And that lack of quality control really shows in the data. When you look at the complaints driving a 386 score, it isn't just the decor is dated.
Right.
It's fundamental failures, excessive noise, unpleasant odors, and disputes during the check-in process.
Disputes during check-in is definitely code for they couldn't find my reservation or they tried to charge me twice. That is not how I want to start a trip.
No, it's a stress test. So the data screams, if you are booking economy, stick to Microtel. If you ventured too far down that list, you are gambling with your peace of mind to save maybe $10. It is not worth it.
That is incredibly good to know. Microtel is the lifeboat in the economy sea.
It is.
Okay, let's recap this roster. If you are planning travel for 2026, here are your data-backed winners.
Number 1 is the Ritz-Carlton, the peak of luxury. Statistically, the best experience money can buy in North America right now.
Number 2 is Drury Hotels, the upscale anomaly. Free food, free drinks, and satisfaction scores that beat hotels twice the price.
Number 3, Omni Hotels and Resorts, the reliable premium choice for when you want nicer than average but don't want to mortgage your house.
Number 4 is True by Hilton, reinventing the mid-tier with better lobbies and better tech.
And number 5, Home2 Suites by Hilton, the king of extended stay reliability.
It's a really solid list. And I think the broader trend here is what's most interesting. We are paying more. The $160 average is no joke, but we are demanding more. We aren't satisfied with just a clean bed anymore. We want the ecosystem.
The chains that realize this, like True with their lobbies and Drury with their community feel, are winning. The ones that are just selling square footage are falling behind.
Precisely. And the integration of technology, specifically that mobile app, is becoming the dividing line. It's the difference between a good stay and a seamless stay.
It's fascinating because for years, hospitality was defined by the human touch, the smiling concierge, the front desk agent. But now, hospitality is being defined by how much you can avoid that interaction.
And that leads me to a final thought I want to leave everyone with today.
Yeah.
We talked about that massive satisfaction gap between app users at $699 and non-app users at $631. It makes me wonder, are we reaching a point where human interaction at a hotel is actually a detriment?
It's a very provocative question.
I mean, think about it. If the highest scores come from people who bypass the front desk entirely, does that mean the future of hospitality is antisocial?
Or maybe hospitable just means don't waste my time. If I've been traveling for 8 hours, the kindest thing you can do is let me open my door with my phone and crash.
Don't waste my time. That might just be the new motto of the modern traveler. Something to think about the next time you walk into a lobby and instinctively reach for your phone instead of making eye contact with the concierge.
It's certainly where the trend lines are pointing.
Hopefully your next stay is a 10 out of 10. Safe travels.